Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inner Secrets Revealed Kabbalah class with Dr. Gil Tivon. As always, I am your host, Metaphysical Sciences TV, Mike Ray. We have yet another amazing class ahead of us today. As always, the format will be, we will have the lecture portion of the Podclass, and then we will have things open up to discussion and answering questions that you guys may have. Hence the term Podclass, part podcast, part class. So you get the best of both worlds. Now, today we have an amazing class in front of us. We have so far discussed all of the Sefirah, or all of the prisms on the Tree of Life, all of the different emanations or attributes which in Kabbalah are the expression of God revealing himself as he continuously creates the physical realm and the chain of higher metaphysical realms. So creation itself. And just to show a quick picture of the Tree of Life, I'm just going to bring it up with you guys real quick. And as you can see on here, there are the 10 Sefirah, which are the Crown, Wisdom, or Chokmah, understanding, Bina, kindness, or Chesed, judgment, Gevurah, eternity, Nitzach, splendor, Had, Yesod, foundation, Malkut, which is kingdom, and Tiferet, which is beauty, and is also our heart center, and is the center of everything. As you can see on this illustration of the Tree of Life, there are many paths, or these little lines that connect each of the Sefirah, which we will be focusing on today. And if I could find another representation of the Tree of Life, these are some of the sacred Hebrew letters. There is a representation, here we go, of the Tree of Life with the sacred Hebrew letters. Today, we're going to be focusing on the letter Hey, which is right here between Kether and Chokmah. So, as I said, we have an amazing class ahead of us. So, without further ado, we will dive right in. So, let's hand it over to the man of the hour. Let's give him the power. Dr. Gil Tivon, everybody. Dr. Gil.
To you all, and I'm sorry that tonight we started a little bit later. I am going to try to make sure that because people are dear friends on the Eastern Coast, for which it's getting a little bit late, we're going to start half an hour earlier, which will be our usual 7 p.m. Arizona time, and yours 10 p.m., especially when with the summer clock kicking in. And we appreciate it, and we do apologize for tonight's because of an outstanding holiday that had to be completed. And so we landed right on time on the second that it finished. Then I'm right here. So I'm going to show you also an incredible overview of the 10 Sefirot, which Mike, if you be so kind, our host, to bring it back, and I'll show you before we dive in so that you can see where we're going. And this is not a futile or small or detailed little thing that you're going into, but rather a very major dramatic apparatus. Very good. Thank you, Mike. So let's look at the left, our right. I think the left, from our perspective, is easy. If you can stay there, Mike, thank you so much. See as follows. When we look at the Tree of Life, for those that are with us first time, or for those who have been with us all along, so I'm taking into consideration that some of you haven't been with us before. Yes, let's stay there. So you see actually that the Tree of Life is made of 3 major sections. Well, there's the top triangle, which is the Kether, Chokmah, and Bina, or rather the crown, the understanding, and the wisdom. And that triangle actually is referred to and parallels our brain, right? So I've got the crown right up there, and the right hemisphere of my brain is Chokmah, which is wisdom. The left side of my brain is the understanding. And whoever wants to listen to the entire lecture is more than welcome. But I want to give you some kind of meditation that you can do after the lecture, looking at that, Mike. And that is, if you look at this triangle, let's imagine a pyramid which it forms in 3D, which is hovering all over our heads, right through our head, right up to here. So let's think about this. The first tree, and this is not this is very, very ancient. I'm just giving it over to you. If you look over this first tree, we'll see that it creates a triangle, and we're looking in 3D. It's actually a whole pyramid, which you can imagine that you immerse yourself all over your head in this pyramid, which is 3 legs. Now it's a triangle, which is the crown, the wisdom on the right, and the understanding, and you can have a third deep dimension, and let yourself be immersed in this. It can be completely pure, transparent, wholesome, very holy, with no color, or you can add any kind of color that you wish, the purple, or any other color which does pertain to the head, which is usually the purple, which these are very high colors, or the white, right, which is very, very high color that we can put up there. So these three that we're going to delve into now, you see that they are also interconnected between them. Till now, we discussed each one on its own, and I'm going to refer to the whole structure now, Mike, to start with. So when we did it on its own, we said there's a Kether, there's Chokmah, there's Bina, but we didn't interconnect them. It's very much like speaking about your right hand, your left hand, but there is no connection between them. Well, that's a very dull kind of description of a system. And we have to understand that there's interconnectedness, inter-influence, interdisciplines between each and every sphere and the other. And this is what we're going to start doing today and give you the depth of information, the merging, the marriage between the different spheres, which brings the whole thing alive. And understand, the pictures that we have here are 2Ds, but understand that the whole thing is very much 3D, like you are in 3D yourself. And on a higher level, when we bring in later on for very advanced level quantum physics, we talk about the 4th dimension, the 5th dimension, multi-dimension, 12th dimension. We really do. Yes, thank you, Mike. This is exactly what we're looking at. And this is how a human being looks like in 3D. And understand that even the 3D is just a reduction of who we are. So imagine that the first 3 are just hovering your head and immersed in it, and this is actually the reality because we are within this 3D. And you can meditate on that you are immersed in it, and understand the different powers at play, which we're going to discuss in short tonight again, which is the crown, the wisdom, and the understanding. Then, whilst you hover over that, Mike, let's go down to the next triangle, but instead of looking at the triangle, I'm going to make it easier for you. Let's look at the square. There's a whole box there. There's a box which contains inside it 6 of the Sefirot. Singular is Sefirah, emanation, or rather a prism, but there are 6 of them in the middle section, which is the body of the Sefirot, which is actually the Chesed, which is the kindness, the judgment, or the strength, which is the Gevurah, right? The Tiferet, which is the right translation, is maybe not beauty, but rather splendor, right? Then Netzach, which is eternity, and we discussed all kind of options. What is the right translation? In the Hebrew, it's got many meanings. In the original, Hod, which is splendor on the left, and the Yesod, which is the foundation. And each one has got a whole lecture about it, which you can definitely find on Facebook, on YouTube, and others. Very nice. So if you want to meditate on this, all you need to do is, first of all, you immerse yourself in the first 3, which is a pyramid over your head, any color that you feel attached to, and just that creates a very beautiful, peaceful kind of inspiration that you receive from above, from the source, from the divine. This is not a connection just to yourself. This is not a normal transcendental meditation. In transcendental meditation, you connect to the forces of nature. You connect to inner force, you listen to whatever you want, you can say Om as much as you want, and I don't say it in a cynical way, but you just connect to your own inner force or the forces of nature. However, when it comes to Kabbalah, we don't just connect to ourselves. We do not just connect to nature, which nature in the Torah will be Elohim, which will be the God of judgment. No, we connect to a much higher level. First and foremost to my higher self, which is about 1 foot above me, and people that are psychic and into it can definitely feel that space up there, right? And then we connect to the source, which is really God, but not the God of judgment, but rather the God of mercy, which is the highest form in the Torah and the Bible, which is the 4 letters name, which is the Yud, Vav, and Hey, and Vav, right? The Havaya, the special name, which if you look in Genesis, in the first few chapters is never mentioned, because the whole of creation is very physical and natural. There is no need for a merciful name. Only when man and his wife, when Adam and Eve are created, then for the first time, then there's a mention of this Havaya name, which means the God of mercy, the God of completely free choice, the God that allows us, thank you, Mike, our free choice, the God that forgives us, the God that allows repentance, the God that understands very much that we are beings with a huge spectrum inside us. It is all one God. It's not 2 different deities. It's all one. But it's 2 different appearances that appear. One is the God of judgment, and the other one is God of compassion, of understanding, of beyond space and time, that meets us, and this is the important dramatic thing, in the here and now, wherever you are, in whichever junction you are in life, whether it's in different time, different space, different event, different circumstances, He will be with you where He will be. I am that I am. Wherever you are, I will meet you exactly where your level of transcendence is as of now, which is incredible. So coming back, Mike, to the Tree of Life, if you can look at it, once I want to immerse myself in the experience of life, because my brain and my mind allow me the knowledge. However, from my shoulders down all the way to my procreation, which is the yesod, which is the foundation, these allow me very much, and that's left. The 2 left ones are incredible. They really suit our purposes for tonight, right? So let's stay there for a while. These show me a box. In 3D, it's a box, which means there's Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod, and they create a box in 3D. And that box, you can immerse yourself and see yourself in that box. That box, again, is not to feel well. Is to connect to God or to the source on the level of your feelings. Now, when I discuss who you are, and you tell me I think then I am, like Kant, the great philosopher, said, well, thinking, as proven today, doesn't always define who you are. Sometimes you think things that are not you, but feelings definitely define who you are. When I say to you, I feel, it doesn't blame you, it doesn't criticize you, but it says, this is how I feel. I love you, I don't like you, I reject you, that is how I feel. I feel hurt by you. Feelings are very much the real person that we are in the here and now. So that box, that square from Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod, that creates the major content of the human being. Because to think we can all do, and some computers and USBs think even faster and better than us, but what really quantifies and signifies and defines a human being is that square. And that box from Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod, which formulates a structure of a box in 3D and a square in 2D as we see it here. And this is where we handle life. This is where we experience life. And this is the most important and dramatic section. And again, those people that are used to the Eastern system of 7 chakras, which all of us know, will understand and appreciate, with all due respect, because I also use them in therapy, that this is a very big reduction, because from them, if we look and compare what we have here, we have a 3D human being all in all. But when it comes to the 7 chakras, we have only a very, very thin line defining the middle line, which does not give us the dichotomy, does not give us the compassion and the kindness, the boundaries and the going out and giving. It does not give us 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 kidneys, 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, nothing of the 2s that we have in our body so much of. 10 toes. No, it gives us one singular inner framework, which doesn't, cannot, and will not govern or define who we are as human beings. So it's a great reduction, and therefore it's a great loss, because it does not define, it does not portray the real system. So therefore, the Eastern system is a great reduction of reality. It's a great reduction that came after Kabbalah. But if we have the original, why should we go for things that came later and try to imitate in a very, very dull way? Very, very dull way. Exactly that. So we don't need that. So, and I say this to somebody who studied both, who advocates for both, who respects everyone as people. But when we're talking about people, we're speaking about a system, whether it works or doesn't. Scientifically, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, this system works for over 5,000 years, and other system is just a reduction and very much an imitation, a poor imitation of what we offer in Kabbalah. What can we do? The truth sometimes hurts, but that's the way it is. Whoever wants to argue with this, well, you're welcome to argue with the ancient spiritual masters that walked this earth long before we did, long before anything in the Eastern religion even came about. So that's very important. And again, this is not a competition. This is just showing you the truth as it is in its naked form and trying to give you what's best for you, what suits all generations, all cultures, not just Eastern cultures, but everyone in the Western world and anywhere else, wherever a human being is, or it can also describe a company or any kind of animal or a pet that you have at home. That's also fine, it suffices. It will work all the same. Very important. And then we come to the bottom Sefirah, Mike, which is the Sefirah of the root chakra, from our perspective, which will be Malchut, right, which is the kingdom. And then we can draw a whole sphere around it. So really we can describe ourselves, you see this last one, Malchut, right? So really we can describe ourselves in three forms. You can meditate. I don't want to take away your time from this lecture, because this lecture is more on the academic side or theoretical side and depth side, but you can do it at your own spare time as long as you like, every night. And so you immerse yourself in a triad of a pyramid from head all the way just your head, and deal with the different spheres, the different parts, and try to merge and try to connect to the higher self and to God and to the source, and be inspired through this. Then bring it down and bring around your whole box from shoulders down all the way to your procreative organs, which forms a box and a square with 6 spheroid, which engages you with all your emotions, with all your experiences, practical experiences in life. Now, your experiences, my experiences, and other people's, each one is different. And that's what makes us unique. It doesn't make us simple. It doesn't make us wrong. It makes us unique. So God is so infinite that he gives each of us different kind of experiences, and you should take that and apply it to your own circumstance, to your own life, to your own situation, to your own people that you have interaction with. It's work or at home, or your health situations, dealing with the experience at the level of the box. The box, again, are the spirits of Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. And last but not least, the last one, draw a whole circle around that section in your body and immerse yourself in that. Put your awareness, lower your awareness to an elevator to that level. And this is where you execute, where you bring into fruition, when you manifest your entire being in there. How do I practically go about life? And everything that I gained through my introspection, through my meditation, through my receiving inspiration from above, from the divine, through my experience on an emotional level, through everything, all my interaction with the world and with my life, how do I practically apply it? What do I bring out of me? Not only using my lower parts, my hands, my thoughts, my mouth, my speech, any kind of reaction which is practical with the world, any kind of interaction, that will be in the form of Malchut, which is kingdom, which is incredible. For example, the book of Psalms was written by King David, and we spoke last time. He is the shepherd, the spiritual shepherd, the spiritual mentor of this Sefirah of Malchut according to Kabbalah. And his entire Psalms is praying, crying, shouting, asking for help. Which organs? Through the speech. Because that was the best he could do under his very, very tough life circumstances from childhood till he died, as a chief of staff, as the head of the high court, as a man that was pursued most of his life even by his father-in-law. And so he had a very, very, very tough life. And Psalms is world used universally for people at any kind of sorrow, trouble, suffering, health-wise, mentally, spiritually, physically. It's always there for you. And I know, at least in the Hebrew, some auditions now actually include and tell you as the headline for each Psalms what it is standing for. I hope in the future that I will be able to do so as well. It's in the works. And of course, everything has to be translated into English. So I'm reviewing it. There are better people than me that have done a great job and have covered already the entire Psalms. Unfortunately, only in the Hebrew, and each Psalm is already annotated and has got a description. What does it come to? And then it's summarized in a big chart for you when you want to pick and choose the code that you want to use to push in that Psalm that can really help you at your junction where you hold. But this is the system, the biggest system, and I gave you a big innovation tonight that we did not discuss before. Now let's go to the details. Let's zoom in on the pyramid on top. Now, if you look at it again, you'll see that we have got three special Sefirot over there, which is the Kether, which is the crown, Chokmah, which is wisdom, and Bina, which is understanding. Now, till now, we discussed which one only on its own. And we understood how one maybe supports the other, empowers. But tonight what we're going to do, we're going to interconnect them. If you look at, stay there 1 second, Mike, at the beginning, the previous one. Yes, previous one. The one with the letters in between that we had. Yes. So you see on the left one, there is, stay there. On the left one, we see that there are letters over there which connect them. And the letters that connect between the crown and the other one, Mike, the other one we had before, this is a wrong system. Yes, this one, yes. This one, yes. So you see that Kether is connected to Chokmah with the letter Hey. That's where we're going to start. And if time allows, we might also go into the letter Vav. And Kether is connected to Bina with the letter Vav. Now, this is not ours. Kabbalah, again, by definition, is not something that I contacted out of the tip of my pencil last night because I'm bright or just bored. No, because so we have received for thousands of years that that's the way it is. That's the way in reality it works, which means in higher worlds as well as inside me, that is the connection. Which means that if I want to know why somebody, for example, let's go to the end of it, and don't be shocked, he's got a tumor in his right hemisphere. Somebody's got a tumor in his right hemisphere, right? So that will be very, very detrimental, but we can heal him if we understand what is the connection inside and why, especially there, is this person suffering. We just stay on those, Mike. Let's stay with those a minute. So once we understand the connections there, we can help a person. In other words, using very coarse surgery, we can eliminate parts of his tumor, but we can also impede his power of speech, his power of movement, or we can kill a person as well, as we know. And we're very sorry to let you know that the surgery wasn't successful. Unfortunately, your significant other passed away. Nobody wants to hear that. But the alternative method through Kabbalah, and I am privileged to have been doing this for many, many years, and I received it from my spiritual mentors of how to heal and how to understand it. What I'm starting to give you over now with these meridians, which formulate an inner, intricate system. Imagine it's a train system, a network system between the different kind of Sefirot, and what are the powers attained at each one of them. So what we're learning today is the Karate Kid, which means wish-wash. We're just learning the wish-wash, the powers of each one. But when you see the entire system, very much like when you start to learn judo or karate, you just have white belt, which is wonderful. You have to start there. You can't start from black belt then too. But after you've been doing it for many years and put everything together, then you can play with the big leagues at then 2 and then 5 and then 10. And then you can start to really, really heal people and become a spiritual mentor to many others because this is turning not to be anything academic. This is very practical, which we can use to heal people at the deepest level where surgery or illnesses that nobody can heal because modern science is falling short of it, because science is science by definition, which tells us only the how, but not the why. And the why, we need to go to the source, and the source will always be very spiritual. And here in Kabbalah, we are told the why. Again, compare this, and again, there's no condescending, there's no cynicism in my voice. It's just being also a scientist. I'm comparing the two systems. If you look into the chakra systems, there are no letters there. There's nothing I can do if I have a problem with my right or left hemispheres. Well, I have to use just the crown, maybe my third eye, but there is no interconnection. To say that it governs all of it, well, it's far and doesn't arrive at it because we've got two hemispheres, 2 ears, 2 nostrils. It does not cover this. So we have to come to the Kabbalah, we have to come to intricacies, and tonight we're going to give you an example of how does it look. So let's look at this beautiful letter called Hey, right? And Hey in the English will be like an H, but in the Hebrew it will be H-E-I. Hey, right? Let's say, hey, how you doing? But that's the Hebrew letter Hey. Now, according to Kabbalah, let's start. This is everything till now was introduction for you to zoom in and understand where in this world are we talking about. So the letter Hey, according to Kabbalah, is the letter with which God has created this world. Only one letter was necessary to create this entire physical reality as we know it, including 10 to the power of 86, in other words, 10 with 86 zeros behind it, of all the atoms and everything inside it, including you and me, on the physical level, right? This is this letter Hey. That's why it's so important and dramatic where it appears, which is so far up there, all the way from the Kether and going to the Chokmah. In other words, when the Big Bang came through, and from that time onwards, Big Bang and life, yes? So that means that there was a spark where all of creation was concentrated in a black hole inside one end of a needle, 10 to the power of 86 atoms in such a small place, and then boom, it all exploded, hence the Big Bang, and out came this creation forth to bring this creation and everything that is in it in a structured way, because everywhere we look today into the universe, there's a beautiful structure. We don't see chaos, we see structure. The letter to be used for that is the letter Hey. We're going to explain its name, we're going to explain its shape, we're going to explain why with this it's enough for all of this creation to be created. And again, when we come to us, we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, which I always say, we need more than that, because we come from a spiritual world and we need all these 4 letters there. We need others. But to create this physical creation, just 1 letter is enough. And if you look in the original Hebrew, it says that God has created this world Behi Bar'am. The word is Behi Bar'am, which means that He has created them. But Kabbalah texts it differently as Behi Bar'am. He has created this world with the letter Hey. It's written in the text, we just didn't know how to read it because it was covered up. It was hidden within the text. And Kabbalah and the Zohar explain to us that secret. Now, why is this weird shape of this letter, which I don't remember if we have anything like this in the English, where we have 2 parts of the letter which are separated from each other? It's very, very strange. So, the shape of the letter means that as follows. Not so simple. The shape of the letter means that if we look at it, let's first of all look at the human being. If we look at a human being, let's look at our body. We discussed before that we are a square from shoulders down. When we look at my shoulders, that creates that, let's call it a upside down L shape. And my right hand is connected here also with a hinge, which is the form of Hey. Let's look at my legs. Joining up at the top, at the bottom through my pelvis, that also forms the letter Hey, and it's just a small connection there that can pop in and out. So you got a double Hey within our body. The letter Hey actually means that there is a possibility, and this is the crux of the matter, there's a possibility within the creation that even if a person, it's built into the program, sense, even if a person defaults, even if a person goes off the chart completely, he can come back. So let's look at it in a spiritual way. You can decide tonight that you want to go drug addict, you want to go to booze, you want to go to addiction, you want to go pornography, and that's all the way down the rabbit hole. Going down the rabbit hole is very dangerous because many people don't come back. Many people just finish their lives, they're too young. Not because they wish to, because they took an overdose, or the dose just connected more and more and more till they unfortunately died. And I personally know such people. And it's it saddens my heart a lot because some of them are my friends. And so it really saddens me very much. However, God has thought before that if you want to come back, it's not enough to come back through the same pathway. In other words, you went all the way down the rabbit hole. One day you decide no more drugs, no more booze, no more pornography, no more gambling, no more shopaholic, no more workaholic, and you want to wear your way back, you can't come back through the same way because you will fall, because the urge has become second nature. Your habits have become second nature. It will be very, 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 very tough. And that's why many people through the 90 days of rehab, through when they're addicted, many of them start the rehab again and again, or the count days, and they will always, through the life, must be watched very carefully because they might come back. The letter Hey explains to us if you want to come back and make a real comeback, not a go back, but a comeback, we must go at the highest source. We must find out the source. That is the small little path on top of the Hey, between the head of it, which is describing godliness and the divine, and the bottom part, you must find the source of why did you fall there. I'll give you an example. If a person is addicted, the reason for addiction is never a reason for anything. It will always be a result to numb or running away to numb the pain. People are really spiritual and they failed because they had so much on the plate, especially emotionally and mentally. They can't handle it because the pain is so big. So they run to different kind of addictions momentarily, temporarily relieving their pain. But unfortunately, they didn't realize that the temporary release is going to overtake them and become a permanent addiction. So in order for us to cure this, we have to go to the source. What is the real reason why? What happened there? Who abused you? Who molested you? Who raped you? Who criticized you? What happened in your life? What happened to your inner child that broke your spirit and crushed it so much that you had to run away to drugs when you were vulnerable and weak and young and not that very smart, and somebody pushed you those drugs or whatever? Now we're getting there. This is the secret of the letter here. It explains to us the spiritual path in which you can make a real comeback in your life, going to the real source on top of it and understanding in which way can you make a real change and transformation in your life where you don't need it anymore, where you can become a coach and a consultant and a counselor for other people or a psychologist, whatever it is, to give therapy and healing for those people, your friends and others that have gone through the same path as you, but unfortunately didn't hear this lecture or didn't go to the right therapy or therapist and don't know which is the way back to come back from that. And I know currently quite a few people that lost all their money on the verge of losing their entire marriage because, or the children or the family, because of their particular addiction. We start getting into details and we start divulging information, of course. Now let's go further. That's the first step. We'll try to do as much as possible in the small, short time we have allocated. Now, I've also mentioned, so I want to jump to the end so that we don't lose the end, and that is the power of the letter Hey, we are told in Kabbalah, is the power to bring forth from the potential to the practicality. If a person does not have children, if a person wishes for children, either it's physical children or spiritual children. What do I mean by spiritual children? By spiritual children, I mean you sit at home and you are a very talented creative human being. You want to write a book. You want to finish your PhD. You want to compose some music, a song, whatever it is, a painting, a sculpture. You need to be very creative, but you have to join your inner imagination and to bring it into practicality. You have to execute it. The power of execution, the power to bring forth that which is just in your imagination and mind, is through the letter Hey. That's why it's connected to the crown being brought down through the wisdom, which means that's the spark, that's the big bang in your mind, which you allow yourself to brainstorm and start to bring it down later on through Bina, through understanding, into actual form in this world. Now, I'm going to give you a clue and a hint. This needs special individual supervision and guidance, but in general, if a person does not have children and cannot have children, in situations which are like this, which I know many of, and I had many of like this in my clinic for many years, then all you need to do, but you need to ask an expert, is to add the letter H, or Hey in the Hebrew, in your name, but in a very particular place. So we need to consider your date of birth, we need to consider your name, the name of your parents, the name of your spouse, your significant others. But in general, adding the letter Hey to your name, whether it's in the Hebrew or in English, the Hey, where it's conspicuous, where you can hear it. Let's say Hannah, you can hear the H, right? So not at the end, like Gloriana, it's only at the end, it's H at the end. Not so bad, but better, let's say Hannah, where you can hear the H at the very beginning. Or a different way of doing it, if you are already got 7 names, adding another one is not going to help. You can take a 1 inch by half an inch, 1 inch long or wide, by half an inch high, little plates of silver, 925. 925 is the purity level of the silver. I grew up in such a house, I should know. And you write on it in the Hebrew 2 letters. I'm going to write to you in the chat. One is going to be a big letter. Let me find the chat here for tonight. There we go. 1 letter will be the big Hey. Let me go into the Hebrew here. Hey. And next to it will be a little letter Aleph. So like this. On that little plate, which you're going to make of sterling silver, 925, it's going to be 1 inch wide, half an inch high, and 0 inch in depth, right? Whatever it is, just 1 millimeter, right? You go to a person who does these things, and he will engrave, instead of a tattoo, he will engrave on that silver, because silver symbolizes the sphere of the emanation of kindness on that piece of silver, which you're gonna hang on your upper chest, right? Like a necklace. The big letter Hey and a small little letter Aleph next to it, and that will allow you to have children. Now, how much experience do we have with this that it will work? Is it just a charm? It's a Kabbalistic charm. And I'm giving it for free with love. How much experience do we have? We have 5,000 years of experience that this works. I've given it to ladies and men that are married, that don't have any kids. And they have children. There's recently a lady, a couple. He is my student. He lives in Jerusalem. His wife is 51, never married, never children. At the age of 51, she fell pregnant. 51. Where the doctor said, no way, no chance. Yeah, she just had to give up on children. She didn't want to give up on children. She wanted to have a child. And I learned the last few weeks that she's got already second child. She's 53 today. Yes, maybe it's IVF, but she has children. Some people after IVF don't have children even with IVF, right? So that's incredible. So we use this and other things to make it work. In other words, what doesn't work through the normal, conventional science and medicine that we have, which is great, which I hold by, right? Also the integrated medicine. But through Kabbalah, that works. Why? Because the letter Hey is a letter of creation. It's a letter of procreation. It's a letter that allows you to execute your dreams practically. Now, if you are an incredible writer, if you're in the middle of a PhD, if you're in the middle of your music and you lost your thread of thought, you lost your creativity, and you really wanted to be down there, use the same thing. You don't want to add a word and letter to your name or a different name. Make yourself this charm in the Hebrew, not in the English, in the Hebrew. Hey, in the little aleph, like I wrote it there in the chat, and you will find in no time the creativity again. Use the meditation I gave through this lecture and meditate on these two letters, big Hey, small little aleph next to it, which is the letter of teaching, of creating as well, brainstorming, and together this combination is incredible, and it brings together your ability to bring forth and manifest anything that you want in this world, which is mind-boggling, seriously, and cannot be explained scientifically, but it works. How long? For over 5,000 years it works, so we're very happy with that. Okay, very good. Now, the first time we are told by Kabbalists that lived hundreds of years ago, that have handed down to us from over 5,000 years ago, that the first time that a certain letter is being given to us, that's the time. I see that the time is running short. I must finish the lecture. I didn't realize. The first time the letter is being brought to us, that is the meaning of this letter. The first time the letter Hey is given in the Bible, in the Torah, is in the actual verse that V'ha'aretz hayta, and the land was, meaning the letter Hey is formalization. Something is created, ex nihilo, out of nothing. I'm sorry I ran over time. I didn't realize that. I apologize. I will allow you for a few little questions that you might have. I'm sorry I got so carried away, but so much to go, a few more hours. But whatever we've achieved tonight is great. And I will write my email for you, those that have any specific questions to me. So please go ahead and shoot me an email, and I'll be more than happy to help you along with it. Okay, Mike, any questions we have? Mike?
Okay, so yes, we do actually have a couple questions
Very good.
that I think are very good questions that deserve to be answered. So we will get right to it. Let me bring the questions up once again. On a little screen here. Okay, the first question has to do with, I believe, the illustration, and I will try to bring it up right now, of the triangle of Kether, Bina, and Chokmah, or of the Crown, Wisdom, and Understanding. So let me bring up the picture right now so we can see what is being referenced. And we see up here on the top it says Mother and Father. So the question is God a man or woman or both? Male, female, or both?
Right, very good question.
This is a good question.
Very good question. And the answer is, all answers that we will give, that we know of, at the highest level, and this is very important for you to understand, because the question is deep, and the answer is even deeper, and it takes time to understand, not because I'm saying it, because so I've received from my spiritual masters for many, many decades and more. So the answer is as follows. Whatever answer I will give you, it's only from our human perception. In other words, we can never, no human being ever really understood or will understand the essence of God. That's why his name is revered. That's why it's holy. That's why it's sanctified, because it's way over our understanding. That's why we live in 3D and God dwells in any D that you like, multiverse or billion D. So we can't encompass and understand it very much like a child at any age will ask his parents, well, please explain to me about your bank account, about what you studied for your PhD. And the father or mother will smile and will humbly explain that the child doesn't have any capacity. Having said that, God portrays himself to us both as male and female. He's got compassion and kindness, very motherly, And King David said it very clearly in Psalms. I feel that you're holding me like a child is being held in his mother's bosom. At the same time, he also said that God looks to me like a warrior, and that he also experienced in his life. So God is also the God of judgment, the God of strength, and is very fatherly and very masculine, the way that he appears to us, and very feminine. Now you ask me, what is really God in essence, female or masculine? The answer is neither. It's the way we experience him. Why can I say this? If we walk to the sea, is the sea female or masculine? And the answer is, well, the sea can kill somebody and drown somebody. The sea can create energy. The sea can create electricity. The sea is infinitely wise that we can utilize it in many ways. This is an analogy for us to understand God. God is way over both. And if you want to understand it, go to quantum physics, which I teach as well, and you will see that there's a two-slit experiment, which means light. Light is something that God created, which is the highest form we can understand physically of something spiritual. You got enlightened. We are enlightened. We are illuminated. Now, light can be seen as particle, and light can be seen as wave. What is light? So scientists say it's neither, but it portrays itself as both. Similarly, just an analogy, God portrays himself to us as a very loving mother, very protective, nurturing mother, and a very stern, strong father, which is very protective, yet a man of war, a being of war, when needs be. And the answer is both, but way over and above, and only the way that it portrays itself to us. Next question, Mike.
Okay. So, just very quickly, I just wanted to just expand on that question. I'm just going to very quickly try to pull up a picture of the name for God, Elohim, which you mentioned earlier today. Of course, I'm sure you could explain this much better in depth, but Elohim is plural and both masculine and feminine. It has the word El, which means God, and Eloah, which is a feminine emanation of God, I believe, and Elohim, which means plural. So I get that some interpret it to mean gods. If I could just find the picture, here we go. I'm going to share this real quick, and then get on to the next question, which was here we go. So if everyone can see the picture that I have right now, it's on the right-hand side. That is the word Elohim. And as I said before, it is both masculine and feminine. And of course, it differs from the other name for God, which is the one with, it has the letter A in it, which I will bring up right now very quickly.
So the question is, what are the different names? What do they portray? What do they mean?
Yes, it was, were there different gods, or are there different beings, or are they just different
Very good,
names?
very good. So, very good. And the answer is, this is of great importance. All three major religions in the world, the first one was Judaism. It started over 5,000 years ago with Abraham, etc., and before with the first man who already celebrated these two names. Later on, Christianity came around about 2,000 years ago, and Islam came around. It was, as far as I recall, the year 1448. That's about 600 years ago. All of them are monotheistic in that respect. Nobody, and as far as I know, also Buddhists, etc. Buddhism is not a religion; it's just a culture, but they very much believe as well in one God. So we all believe and understand, and we know. We don't only believe, because the Bible says don't only know, but it says know your God and serve Him. It doesn't say believe. Belief is not something which is a blind faith. Belief is something that you develop, like you believe in your mother and father because they prove themselves. So God is one. This is monotheism. And there's two aspects of God portrayed through these two names. The name Elohim, which Mike is showing us over here now, is the God of strength, the God of judgment, the God of nature, the God through which when you do something, you expect a reaction. To every action will be reaction, which means karma is going to play in your life very much the way that you behave. If I'm very cruel to other people, very judgmental, very critical, then life will show me the hardship of facing people that I respect doing the same to me. That's when Elohim comes as a mirror in my face. However, if I am a very kind, compassionate person and I overgo my nature and I try very much to go that way, kindness, compassion, love, unconditional love, no resentment, smiling, happiness, then God is going to portray himself as the God which is the four letters name, which is the Yud K Nevav K, which is the God of mercy. If I pray to God from my heart, if I'm dire straits and ask God, God, please help me, like in David asked, God, my God, why did you forsake me? And I cry and I shout out because I can't anymore, because the pain is too much health-wise or relationship-wise or career-wise or financial-wise, then the God of mercy is going to answer, because thank you, Mike, this is not the God of judgment there. I don't need my father to be of judgment now. I need him to be there for me. Like you can call your father and ask him, Dad, I really need a loan. I'm going to die. I can't. I need you to save me with my car. I'm stuck in the middle of the flood. I'm not even in cash. Whatever it is. This is when you call your father and you expect him to be merciful to you and say, I don't have anything I don't want to help you. So this is the God of kindness and mercy and compassion, where we access him through our own quest, through our own seeking, through our own prayer, and through our own actions, going to a higher level. So you can look into my Instagram, my Facebook, where I put it out there a few weeks back. It's one of the posts which describe the difference, and I also go to my YouTube, between my judgmental self, my ego self, and my compassionate self. So anytime somebody approaches you, and you are a sharp guy, and you want to answer in cynicism, and you want to go to judgment, and no problem, you are engaging your ego, and God is going to behave to you with the name Elohim, which is judgment. But if you pause, we discussed it, pause and observe, and go to a higher level, you access a higher level in you, which is the compassionate level, the soul level, approaching the source level, then you're going to bring down to your life that Havaya, that name of God, which is full of mercy. You're going to express it to other people, bestow on them kindness, even though they don't deserve. And in that way, you'll also be able to infuse your life, measure for measure, with God, with that beautiful self-resolve. It got maybe time, Mike, for a short little question. Then I have to call it for a time because I am time sharing this room.
Okay, so that was, thank you for that beautiful answer. I'm just showing illustrations right now of the Tree of Life, or in Hebrew, the Etz-Chaim, and I'm just zooming in right now on a picture of the Crown Sefirah, and right above it, you can see in this picture, it shows the Ein Sof Or limitless light, the Ein Sof, limitless, and the Ein, or nothing. And this is at the top, right above the crown, or the Kether Sefirah. And this is, I guess, as the person who asked the question phrased, the prime creator, or God as we know it. And as Dr. Tivon just explained, all of the other names that we use for God are describing his different emanations or attributes.
Right.
And this ties into the next question, which has to do with names and the letter Hey, which is the importance of the letter Hey the reason God changed Abram's name to Abraham?
Absolutely beautiful, beautiful, excellent question. Now, if you go into the geometrical value in the Hebrew, Abram has got his name. Abram means the father of a nation. Abraham means the father of many nations, and really is the forefather of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, as well as Buddhism, as the Bible clearly says, which is wonderful and fine, and therefore he is the father of monotheism. As we know him, and he is the father and the writer of the book of creation. Now, if you look into the geometrical value, which is incredible, in the Hebrew, Abram means 243 geometrical value, numerological value. Whereas Abraham with the extra hey, which means 5 in the Hebrew, it's A, B, C, D, E, right? In Hebrew, it's Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, it's the 5th letter. It's another 5, which means 248 altogether. His name is Abraham, which means God told him like this: you were born sterile. You are never going to have children, neither you nor your wife. So I'm going to change your name from Abram to Abraham, and your wife's name from Sarai to Sarah, with a hey at the end. And therefore I'm going to make both of you fertile. That's the initial source for what I said tonight. And therefore you're going to be able to control all your 248 organs, right? Including your fertility, your procreation. And that means that you have to be righteous there as well. But everything that has to do with guarding your eyes, guarding your heart, guarding lower addictions that people go to, you can't afford this. If you want, very good. If you want to have children, you must watch yourself. The same applies, by the way, to prosperity. If you want to make sure you have lots of money, you have enough on your table, that's everyone will tell you. But if it comes to Warren Buffett as well and Elon Musk, watch your eyes, watch your heart, watch what you do with yourself. Don't waste your energy on inappropriate stuff, because that will diffuse your energy. You'll get exhausted, no money on the table. So both things, procreation, children, marriage, as well as prosperity, all come from this letter Hey. When you guard yourself, it comes through. I'm sorry I have to depart from you, my beloved. I'm sorry I have this time sharing. And I think, Mike, if I'm correct, this coming Monday will be second week that we're going to meet again for the healing. Am I correct? This coming Monday? Yes.
Yes, correct. This coming Monday, we will be having what's called Metaphysical Mondays, where we'll be having a mental health.
When last did you have
metaphysics?
When last did you have it? Was it this Monday or a Monday? Did we have last time this week, Monday, or week before?
It was a week before, so it was 2 weeks ago.
So it will be this.
Correct. Thank you, Dr. Gil Tivon, for this beautiful and very enlightening lecture. Just one last thing, if you have the time before. Oh, sorry. The question I was going to ask was what the number was for the numerical value. Excuse me, I can't speak tonight. Numerical value of the name Abraham. As I'm sharing right now, you guys could see, as Dr. Tivon explained, Abram in Hebrew meant father of nation. Well, Abraham means father of many nations, and he explained how this ties together all of the major religions that are monotheistic in the world, because they stem through Abraham and his descendants. It was his descendant Jacob, who was later given the name Israel, who started Judaism, the Hebrew religion. It was Esau, his twin brother, I believe, or other brother, who started his bloodline started Christianity. And then there was Isaac, who I believe it was Isaac, whose bloodline and lineage started the religion of Islam. And then there are many more, of course. He had many more, children that were, leaders of different nations, and that's why they all stem from, the Hebrew religion, or rather, a Kabbalah, which is where Abraham, really started to spread this knowledge of the Creator and of the truth of God for the rest of the human population to start understanding. The other thing I wanted to talk about was about how the letter Hey has to do a lot with fertility and procreation. So Abraham and Sarah were infertile, and Abram in Hebrew equals the number 243. I will just bring that up one more time. Just these notes that I wrote down for you guys. Abraham equals Abram in Hebrew equals 243, which is the number of infertility, and they were given or added the letter Hey or H in English to their name to be given fertility, so that they could be fertile and they could have children, and thus making Abraham and Sarah the mother of many nations. I wanted to ask Dr. Tivon what the numerical value for Abraham was. However, anybody can Google that. It is called gematria or numerology, Hebrew numerology, and it is very fascinating stuff. So again, there were several questions we did not get a chance to address today, such as the source, pure energy. Does he have other gods that work for him and the ones that we worship here on Earth? I guess the short answer for this would be that these other gods, lowercase g gods, would be considered angels or archangels, ministering angels that work under the direction of the Creator, of God. And it could also be said that these other forms that God takes on, these other emanations, are of the Creator himself. It is the one singular universal consciousness, or one divine mind, that is shining through many prisms, and which also pervades through us all and is around us all. It is spirit, it is energy. So yes, that of course is going to take many forms, including us, and including things that we would see as immaterial, or things that we would think of as just mundane and not alive, where in reality everything is this divine consciousness, and everything has a spark of the divine source, this mind of God, the Creator, the Ein Sof, the limitless light that comes down through the Sefirah of Kether and emanates through the rest of the Tree of Life, which is there's a macrocosm of that. There is, the heavens. I will bring out the picture that demonstrates what I'm speaking about right now. The different planes of being in Kabbalah. As you can see, we have Atzula, the archetypal world, the plane of will and spirit, which is represented by the element of fire. And we have Bria, the creative world or emotional plane, which is represented by the element of water. Yetzirah, the formative world or mental plane, which is represented by the element of air. And Asiya, the physical world or material plane, which is represented, of course, by the element of earth. And as you could see, the different worlds, the different planes of being are separated. And so you could see which Sefirah is actually in which plane. And of course, each plane is represented by one of the letters in the Havayah, the Tetragrammaton, the four-letter name of God, or when you're reaching up to the higher, above Elohim, the spirit of nature, which has the masculine and feminine qualities to it, the judgment, the justice and the mercy. And as you could see, each letter in the four-letter name of God corresponds to each plane. The highest one is Atzula, and this is where you would get the world of the celestial beings and gods and angels, the creative world in Bria. This is also where you find lower classes of angels. Yetzirah, here Again, you find even lower classes of angels and some human beings who have elevated their consciousness and their spiritual awareness on this planet. And then, of course, you have Asiya, which is the physical and material world, represented by the element of earth, very appropriately, as Malkuth, the last Sefirah, which the endless light, or the Ein Sof, or the source, emanates to, is the kingdom, or earth. So earth is the place of the least light, but as you can see, we have the three pillars, and in the middle pillar, where we have Malkuth, or kingdom, Yesod, foundation, Tifereth, beauty, which is the heart, and we have Daf, which is the hidden Sefirah, which is knowledge. When you cross this, it's called, in some disciplines, crossing the abyss, or crossing the veil, so that you can access this higher world, where you would get the name that is used for God, the Havaya, the four-letter name. And of course, the reason that Malkuth, or kingdom, is all the way at the bottom is because it is representative of earth, and it is also representative, if you take it to the microcosm, it is represented by the feet. So you could see, or at least very close to it. Whereas the crown hovers above the head, so it is, kind of like the crown chakra. The chakras could be related to just focusing on the middle pillar, whereas the Tree of Life in Kabbalah, it expands on each of these, and you have balance. You have, severity, you have masculine, feminine, and you have balance, both in the middle. And again, this is another reason why you will find so many similarities in other, traditions of spirituality and mysticism, because it all stems from the wisdom of Kabbalah and the wisdom that the forefather of Judaism, Abraham, laid down in writing the book Sefirah of Wisdom, the book of formation. Of course, we saw in this other illustration, Yetzirah is also the name of a formative world or mental plane. Yetzirah means formation. So the book Sefirah Yetzirah, also known as the Book of Abraham, is the book of formation, which explains very much the Hebrew Tree of Life, Kabbalistic Tree of Life rather, and all the different Sefirah, all the different emanations. It explains all the different path, or the meridians, the lines between the Sefirah that connect these different prisms together. And it explains how to use this knowledge and start applying it to our lives. I will just check to see if there are any more questions. Okay. Oh, somebody is making a comment about. Okay. Okay. Somebody mentions. I think it's in reference to Abraham and Sarah. They wore the silver H, and then she became fertile, meaning Sarah. And I think he said she had already had one baby at age 51, and then she's expecting another at age 53. I'm not sure if this was, I believe it was Abraham and Sarah, but I'm not sure if it was ages 51 or 53. It might have been older. I believe Abraham was in his 70s, possibly older. I think maybe Sarah was in her 90s. I'm not sure. So, but we will definitely address that in our question and answers videos on Metaphysical Sciences TV. Every Wednesday, we will be posting videos answering any questions that we did not have time to address during the Podclass. So stay tuned for that. Also, remember you guys, we have Metaphysical Science TV, a YouTube channel. We have a number of different pod classes that you guys can learn from, all of which are presenting interactive pod classes on topics of mental health, spirituality, mysticism, and metaphysics. You guys could see the just a little presentation screen right there. And I would just like to thank everyone who joined us today, everyone who tuned in. I just thank you all so much. And I would just like one last announcement I have is that we do have, as I mentioned, we have this host of different these different series on Metaphysical Science TV, and I would just like to invite all of you to start following the mental health, spirituality, mysticism, and metaphysics Facebook group, where you guys could find updates and new videos and information on when these videos will be posted, so you guys could get the inside scoop. You guys could go back and rewatch all the old videos. As I'm showing right now, we have all the old episodes of my mental health, spirituality, and metaphysics talk podclasses. We have my old interview with a Mormon. We have all of the old podclasses from this series of Inner Secrets Revealed. There are now 20 of them. And then, of course, we have Metaphysical Mondays, Mental Health, Mysticism, and Metaphysics discussion with Mike Ray and Dr. Gil Tivon, which will be resuming on Mondays. So, guys, please stay tuned for that. That class will complement this one, and it will help everybody to be able to understand this in a much greater level of understanding. And hopefully, if Kabbalah and these teachings do not resonate with you, or if you're having trouble understanding them, then the other metaphysical pod classes and the other presentations on metaphysical principles and mysticism may help you understand this better, especially if you are somebody who is into mystic or esoteric knowledge. If you're into religion or spirituality, this will definitely be up your alley. So please subscribe to Metaphysical Sciences TV on YouTube. Hit the like buttons, hit the bell for notifications for when new videos will be posted, for when new pod classes will be starting. And again, I just cannot thank Dr. Tivon and everybody who has joined us and participated enough. Right now, I am going to share Dr. Tivon's contact information with anybody who would like to reach out to him to have a personal one-on-one session. He is a doctor of holistic psychology, psychotherapy, hypnotherapy, neuro-linguistic programming, cognitive behavioral therapy, business psychology, coaching, couples therapy, healing, mind, body, and soul, Kabbalah, and he's a books author. And as this list of credentials neglects to mention, he is also a world-renowned lecturer, and you could reach him and contact him at giltivon@gmail.com, or you could find him on Facebook, Gil Gershon Tivon. Again, thank you everybody for coming and joining us. We would like to invite you all to come and discuss more with us further next week, same time, same place, even more to learn and discover, even greater things to learn. It's going to be very exciting. The last episodes in this series of Inner Secrets Revealed were just introductory. Now is when we really get into the meat of this. You know, they have the old phrase from the Bible, you feed milk to babes and meat to men. Well, if you are willing to sit through and watch all previous 19 or 20 episodes of Inner Secrets Revealed, this is when we get to the meat of it, and we get to the real fun stuff, where we can actually begin applying this knowledge to our lives. And that will be covered in even greater depth in the Monday classes as well as my Wednesday mental health, spirituality, metaphysics talk podclasses. Again, thank you all. I would like to wish you all a good afternoon, morning, night, wherever you guys are. Thank you all very much for joining us, and we will see you again next time. Thanks again. I'm Mike Gray with Metaphysical Science TV. Thank you.